and the salary is more or less the same, and they're offering me a 6 months contract. And then we had to then decide whether we're leaving a permanent position for a 6 months contract. Hi elenemfam.
What's happening, elenemfam?
Welcome back to another video. My name is Letho, also known as Akuma. So in today's video, we are sharing a story of how I left a permanent position for a contract of 6 months. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for joining the channel. And if you're new, please make sure that you join as well by clicking the subscribe button, and check us out on our other social media pages. We are going to leave the links on the description box. And this handsome man right here is my husband, who is going to introduce himself.
What up, elenemfam? My name is Mr. Cham Tiladai, also known as Mr. Cham, child of God. People change, but not God. Is it 2 Chainz or not God? We'll never know. Also known as Utata Kalula, also known as Utata Boy. Yes. No. That's an old song though.
It's new. I've been listening to it on radio.
Is it?
Touchdown. That's a
quick job.
Obviously, I'm not singing it properly, but
okay, maybe that's a problem.
But those are the lyrics.
Fam, we are happy to be back, man, doing a sit down. So today we are actually sharing a story of my beautiful wife over here, how she actually left a permanent job for a merely 6 month contract. What had happened, what led up to that. So if you're new to the channel, I mean, we've already said that please do stick around and make sure that you subscribe if you enjoy the content that we are creating. But for now, click on the like button. How about that? We're waiting. We are waiting. Thank you.
Okay,
take it away, man.
I won't lie, I'm very nervous about this video. I don't know why. I'm very, very nervous. I think it's because we have not been sharing testimonies, and how this video came about. My husband kept on asking me, when last did we share testimony? And we say our channel is about testimonies. We didn't even tell you guys when we bought the house. We just that's a story for another day.
We moved in. And maybe just before you even jump into it, babe, let's share why we are actually telling this story, why we're sharing this. We're just sharing this so that maybe there's someone out there that's in the crossroads. They are in a very confusing period of their lives, and they don't know whether to move forward or to go backwards. Because there are times when God actually calls us to do certain things. And maybe along the journey, maybe we've taken the first step, but then because of what happens around us, then you sort of become doubtful because of whatever circumstances that might be surrounding this. So we're just sharing this so that we can say that even when God does sort of call you to do something, it doesn't mean that it's just gonna be from point A to point Z without any challenges in between. So that's basically why we're sharing the story, and hopefully someone out there is gonna be encouraged, and you're gonna find a bit of a clue of what God is saying to you by the end of this video. Before I overtalk, take it away, my darling.
Take it away, darling. Okay, cool.
Over to you, my dear.
So I'm gonna start from 2019. 2019, I got a job at one of the biggest companies here in South Africa, which I was very excited about. But the working environment was very toxic. The way that the managers treated employees, and also the workload was ridiculous, considering that we were only a few employees, and we were servicing an entire South Africa. So it was very challenging. Come 2020, we started working from home. 2021, we went back to the office, and it got even worse after COVID. It got even worse. I remember I used to work from 7 to 10 p.m. at night, and it was so discouraging and also disheartening, because you would come in at work saying or telling yourself that today is the day where I'll catch up and I want to make sure that I'm up to date with everything. And after putting in so much hours, you still feel like you have not done anything. So this specific day, this specific morning, it was raining when I was driving to work. It was raining and my car wiper came off, and I was
the wiper blades. Once the wiper blades, they snapped,
thing. Yeah,
and then it fell off
on the road.
And it was heavily.
It was raining. Yeah. Yes. And I remember, like, driving to work, I used to listen to a song by Maverick City that says, "The story that I'll tell, the story I'll tell." Mm-hmm. And this is the story that I'm telling now.
Right.
So I had faith that God was going to give me another position. So after the wiper fell off, fortunately enough, I was about 200 meters from a garage. So I go into a garage, I park there, and I call my handsome husband. I'm like, "Hey babe," and explain what just happened. And he says, "Please just call your manager and explain everything that has just happened, and tell her that you are not going to be able to come to the office today." So I do as told by the man of the house.
But you still work, like...
I'll work from home.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not like you were saying you're not going to be working.
Yes, yeah. So when I call her and explain, and she just says, "You need to get your bum to the office by all means."
Yeah, I don't know how the bum is going to move to the office while you are sitting there at home.
Yeah, and the area that I was at, like, there were no public transport or anything. So I was thinking, she's saying I must Uber, I must just leave my car at the garage and just... I don't know what she meant by that. So I wait in the car. I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to move to. And so I just waited for my husband, and he gets there and he's like, "Okay, have you told your boss that you're not coming in? You're going to be working from home?"
That's not how I answer.
I got there. Not the boss.
I got there. I was like, "Hey, babe, have you spoken to your boss?"
Oh, okay.
Not, "Hey, babe."
Oh, wow. That's what he said. That's what he said. So I explained to him what she said. And at that time, how we were doing our finances, me and my husband, we didn't have we were not doing a monthly budget. So each person...
Yeah, we had just gotten married like the previous year in 2020. So this is now 2021
Jan.
So we are 8 months
still
into
finding our
this
way.
thing.
Yeah. So how we did it, my husband would cover his personal expenses, and then I'll cover my own personal expenses, and then from whatever is left, we will then prorate, and then you will then see from what you are left with, then you cover some of the household expenses based on how much is left after you've covered your personal. So I didn't know how much the bond was. He didn't know how much my car was. So how much are you left with after you've covered your things? So he gets there, and then after explaining what happened and what my boss said, and then he's like, "Okay, so how much is your car? How much is your medical aid?" And then
I had a book.
And then
how much? Okay.
After I explained to him, he says, "Okay, please call your boss back and tell them that you are resigning." I was like, "What?" I was excited, but at the same time, I was scared, because I had been applying for more than a year. I have been applying for another job. So now resigning, I'm like, okay.
So final.
Yeah, it's final. It's like, if I resign now, I can't go back.
No, we actually, remember I said, let's pray.
Yeah, we prayed.
We prayed before, literally before you called her.
Yeah.
I said, let's pray about this. And because also, for me, it was really, I had been waiting for that final straw, because I could see how it was treating you, how it was just making you like a different person from the previous year. I didn't want to push you to resign, but I was hoping that one day you're gonna wake up and
resign.
say you resign on your own. So
Yeah.
on your own accord. So when that opportunity came, I was like, if I do not put my foot down, it's not gonna happen again. And we prayed.
And then I called her and then I resigned. I was at peace. After that feeling. I was happy.
Like, it's done now.
I was happy. Knowing that I was not going to work, even on that Friday, knowing that I'm not going to work, I was so excited. And then I was busy telling myself that, okay, I was not finding a job, and knowing how God moves and God waits for you to move. He won't move until you move. So I was like, this is me moving. You see, God, I'm moving. I'm trusting in you. I'm exercising my faith. The next day, Saturday, we take a pregnancy test.
Because the reason why she had, it's not like a random thing that you just took a pregnancy test.
Like
because we had been having sex. And then she missed her periods, and then I mean, duh.
I take a pregnancy test. I am pregnant. Sure. Like,
changes everything.
Like I was telling myself that had I known, even now, like had I known that I was pregnant, I was definitely never gonna resign. So Friday I resigned. Saturday morning I find out that I'm pregnant. It was so confusing, but I still trusted God for another job.
And who's recording this thing, no? Okay.
It is recording. so
you're telling a story to me.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I've done talking for so long. So I resign, and then it's January, end of Jan. February, I'm applying, nothing comes up. March, April, May, I get a call from this company, which is a bit far from where we stay. I get a call and they are inviting me for an interview on a Monday. I'm excited about it, even though the company is very far from where we stay. I was still very excited because I was tired. I was starting to get depressed. We had no savings when we resigned, so that's why we had to do that whole how much your expenses are.
I had used my money on lobola.
Okay,
just cool. In case someone is asking themselves.
Yeah, so we didn't have like a backup plan at that time, and I was like, okay, Provident Fund is gonna come in, but it does delay. Yeah, so now I was starting to panic. I wasn't stressed. But I was like, at some point something needs to come up. So I get invited for a job interview, which was supposed to be on a Monday. Sunday, sure, I don't know how to tell this part. Sunday, I start bleeding. And I have to be admitted. And that's when we lost our first child, the day before my interview. Monday morning, my husband comes to the hospital.
So if you haven't heard, you haven't watched our video about how we lost our first baby, you can go back to, I think we posted the video in 2022 of
You're
how
not gonna link it. I don't know how you do those things.
I'm not gonna link it. Someone is gonna, because someone's gonna click out and then now go and
watch that.
Yeah, just go back to 2022 video 2022 how we lost our first baby.
First baby.
Yeah.
Fine. My husband comes to the hospital on a Monday. He calls that company and tells them that I'm hospitalized, so I won't be able to make it to the interview. Fortunately enough, they said we can move it to a Wednesday. I get discharged on Tuesday. The next day I go for an interview.
Imagine. In excruciating pain.
I was still in pain, physically and emotionally. Yeah. I do the interview, I was successful. Then we find a job. That's how we found a job. God came through, but it was like, that job was like our Ishmael. That's what I was explaining to my husband, because it was far. The salary also was like, it was okay, but it's not what we had been praying for. But we're like, maybe this is the promised child, even though it doesn't feel like the promised child. And then we get another job. Okay, June, July, August, as I'm working for this company. In August, I get a
yeah, it was far. I think
it was far.
I think
There were
that
even
was the
toll
challenge.
gates.
Yeah, so it
Toll
was
gates.
in the Val, so all the way from here to the Val, toll gate going, toll gate coming back, and then petrol. Literally, you had to fill up every fourth day. I think so. So yeah, it was a bit of a stretch. Yeah.
Yeah. Fine. I get in August. I get a call from another company. I get a call. I'm excited because I'm happy that I'm working for this company. But anyways, I get a call and then they say that they are offering me a 6 months contract.
Yeah.
And the salary is more or less the same. And they're offering me a 6 months contract. And then we had to then decide whether we're leaving a permanent position for a 6 months contract.
Yeah.
And now, guys,
what do you do in that situation,
you pray.
What do you do? Comments on the comment section, man.
Because sometimes you're thinking it's God.
Yeah.
And it's your own voice and you're using your own logic. You're not using your faith.
Yeah, that's true.
We prayed about it, and then we decided that we're gonna leave the permanent position for the 6 months contract.
You got this marriage language. We're gonna leave this job as if I wasn't working somewhere else, as if we were both working there. But yeah, no, you got this marriage.
So we decided that we're gonna leave the job in the Val and then go for the one which is close by, in as much as the salaries were more or less the same, but we're going to be saving on petrol also. And then we just knew that we were also exercising our faith. Remember, God will not move until you move. So we said we're not going to stay in a comfortable position. We need to exercise our faith, because and that's our calling as Christians. We always have to exercise our faith, or else we will just stay in our comfort zones, stay in our places of fear, and not do anything that we've been called to do. So we moved, and then I started in September, the same month, I think 2 weeks or 3 months after starting, we find out that we are pregnant again.
Yeah.
Same year. Find out that we are pregnant again. Now I'm like, oh no, they were never gonna make a pregnant woman permanent.
And that's a reality. That's actually.
I was really worried about it. And then a permanent position came up. My manager at this company, such a lovely guy, he tells me that there's a permanent position that is open. He wants me to apply for it. I apply, and then I apply, but then I told him that I'm pregnant. I don't know how to tell this part. I apply, and then I tell him that I'm pregnant, and then he says that when I come back from maternity leave, the position is mine. So I went on maternity leave, and now I'm working at this company as a permanent position, as a permanent employee.
Yeah, and obviously, like, I mean, it wasn't as smooth. There are details that we're not really willing to share, like, you know,
willing sounds big.
No, you know, I mean, if you're working for a company, you can't just be out here telling everything.
All the details.
Yeah, there were challenges in between. So it wasn't, like I said in the beginning, that it's not going to move from point A to point Z. There's going to be happenings in between, things that are making you doubt that actually, was it God? Did I hear from God, or was it just my own voice? Because there were things that really made us doubt. Because, I mean, even when the contract was about to expire, because if I remember well, I don't think you actually disclosed until someone was suspecting or something like that. So they started fishing.
No, I think it's because I had to disclose, because I had to get an operation, and then there's firstly you have to take off because you have your prenatal visits. Your pregnancy is high risk, so you have a lot of those. Unlike most women, you go once a month, but when it's high risk, you go as soon as you find out you're pregnant. You have to start having those doctor's visits. And also I had to have an operation, and I had to be away for an extended period of time. So it was those things where I was like, it's best that I just disclose, right now. But they found out that I'm pregnant, and but I'm permanent now, and that's where the story ends. Still working for the same company.
Yeah, it's been
God
great.
really did came through. It was definitely not easy. We had to exercise our faith more than once. We had to seek God with each and every step, because you thinking, is this God? Is it me? Is this my husband talking? Is it, you know?
I know sometimes I sound like God. That's why I'm saying, is it not God or two chains? The thing is, you don't know. I sound like God sometimes.
Yeah, so I hope you are encouraged. If you are in that position in your life where you're not sure what to do, listen to Maverick City, the story that I'll tell, and one day you'll be telling a testimony. You need to have faith, exercise your faith. And one thing that is attractive to God, if you read the Bible, every time where someone came with faith, even if it was small as a mustard seed, even if it's faith like Jairus's faith, or the Roman officer that trusted that God will heal his child, even though God was not even in that place. Even if your faith is that big, God will listen and God will be impressed. So do exercise your faith wherever you are. If God is telling you to move, just move. But also do put in a bit of logic as well. Guys,
like pray for wisdom, because wisdom comes from God as well. Elenemfam, we're gonna leave it here. We really hope that you did find value in this testimony. We hope that it's gonna encourage you in, I mean, it could be any part of your life that you've really been looking for answers in, and you couldn't find those answers. Let's hope that today God is speaking to you through us. But for now, may your neighbors respect you,
troubles neglect you,
family embrace you,
and God bless you.
And may your shame and pain be champagne.
Bye.
And it doesn't make him like. Athi umuntu esithi khamba ngethasulo, sapha lo mile.